Hello.
Hi.
So it's been a while because a bunch of stuff has been happening these last few weeks, and then Bianca got sick. So yeah. But anyway, we're here now. So I guess we'll just start it out by telling, uh, talking about just quickly, real quick, who our guy of the week and girl of the week was.
Oh yeah, and we also posted on our blog a review to Laura this week,
which is both of our favorite
noir.
film noirs. So.
Every summer we do Summer of Noir. It's a new tradition. We started last year.
It's a year old.
Yeah, but we love it and we're gonna do it all the time now.
Yeah. So that means all summer long, while these posts aren't going to be limited to noir.
As you see from this one.
We're taking turns every week buying film noirs, and we are also going to be
doing blog posts related to them.
So that's stuff you can look forward to. Okay, and then
we post a new blog post every Wednesday.
Yep, and
then our TCM suggestions every week, like usual.
And we're going to alternate our what we're writing about.
Yeah.
So like 1 week, like every 2 weeks it'll be a review, and then every other week it'll be a review, and then in those weeks in between it will probably be a list or something, because we like doing lists. But and the last list we did while we were off was we did top 10 film. We each picked top 10 film noir couples, so you can take a look at that. Alright, so on Twitter, my guy of the week this week, who I got at random, was Oscar Warner. Obviously, I had a lot of people in between all that time, because the last time we had a blog, I think I mentioned, I don't remember if it was the first one I did.
It might have been the first one.
Richard Dix, but
I list all mine here. Let me pull that up.
You can't do it if I don't remember. I know after Richard Dix, I got Richard Green, and then I think I got Tom Mix.
Yeah, I think Johnny McBrown.
Johnny McBrown. And then Oscar Warner, because Johnny was last week.
My girl of the week, because I mentioned June Collier last time. Since then, it's been Jeff Donnell, Connie Francis, Ida Lupino, Terry Moore. This week has been Shirley Jones.
Did I miss somebody then?
I don't know.
How many was that?
Sorry. Still coughing.
How many is that for you?
Like 5, 4.
Well,
does it matter?
No. Okay, fine. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, you had Peter Lawford.
Oh, yeah, I also had Peter Lawford. Thank you.
How could we forget?
All right.
That's looking at the bunch.
And then real quick, just because, again, we're going to normally just update you real quick every week, but since we were off for a while, just the DVDs we bought.
I mentioned last time I was going to do Van Heflin, and I did Van Heflin 1 week.
And who did I do?
You were still doing around the world.
What did I do? Oh, I just did a bunch of different countries, that week, because I was towards the end. Then I did, England.
And I did, Dick Powell in lighthearted movies, because he's one of our favorite tough guys. But we like him in a lighthearted movie, too.
We also got, like, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 collection that just came out, and we got our monthly Disney collection, which now, since it's Summer of Noir, instead of doing a monthly Disney collection, we're going to be doing monthly
and then we shall resume to Disney again.
Yes. So we get all of those.
Yeah.
Alright, and
I did Herbert Marshall to celebrate his new book, and I got his book along with it,
and then I did the Around the World American Criterion, and that closed out my Around the World tour of Criterion. And then I just did Kino Lambert movies. That was last week. Yep.
And last week I got the first Martin Lewis collection because I found it's been really expensive.
She has the second, but she
exactly.
Yeah.
But the person of the week who I did was Madge Evans. And then this week,
well, I also, because I had a kill time at a Barnes & Noble, I just picked up Ikiru and Pickpocket. I've been meaning to get
we have other ones.
They're really good movies.
Two.
We also those kill time at a Barnes & Noble, I got Hamlet, and you got
Les Silence de Mar.
Alright, so...
And this week,
so for the first summer of noir, I spotlighted the underrated Mark Stevens.
I have a blog post on him talking about how underrated he is.
Yeah, and I got 2 noirs of his. I got The Dark Corner and that Street with No Name, and I also got,
Sorry if you hear our dog barking.
And I also got The Snake Pit, which isn't really a new... It's not a noir, but to spotlight Mark Stevens. And I wanted it, so.
And this week I got some Red Scale Tin films, and you could see our barking dog in the picture. We have them on Instagram.
Alright, so enough of that. Let's get to the topic at hand. Alright, so what are we talking about this week?
Musicals!
Alright, now Bianca is the big musical buff. I know very little next to her in this department. If we were talking about foreign movies, I would know more.
But she's seen a lot of them.
No, I've seen them. It's just like, you know them better than I do. But I have seen them, yes, as you will find out.
And since TCM's doing Mad About Musicals, we thought we'd discuss some of them as well.
Alrighty. Let's first start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. We're gonna just talk about the really early Talkin musicals, the really creaky stuff.
And this is going off of, by the way, I want to mention Clive Hirschern's The Hollywood Musical Encyclopedia. That's the order we are going in.
I guess I know you would say it's a must-own.
Oh, absolutely.
Buffs, yeah,
it's only Hollywood ones he spotlights in that one, but it's extraordinary.
Yeah.
So
we're not. I guess we're not going to be talking about foreign ones, which is too bad.
Yeah. Well, I guess that would be harder, I guess, to kind of pinpoint.
Yeah, it would. But yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, Evergreen, I love that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so starting off, they have the jazz singer, because it is, I guess, technically musical, because there are songs in it, even though it's not 100% talky. Yeah. But I've mentioned in my review, it's no wonder that Sound Pictures took over, because the talking scenes are by far the best.
I said something similar to that, too, when I did a review for it. I just said that, yeah, you wait for the talking scenes to come up, and you're just like, can a musical number happen because this plot is very creaky? We already kind of talked about this one, but the Broadway Melody.
Yeah, we're getting to 1929 now, which is when musicals really began to rise, and it really did happen with the Broadway Melody. Yeah. The all talking, all singing, all dancing film.
We talked about this when we talked about Best Picture, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because while it's not Best Picture worthy, out of that year, it's probably the best movie, which says something about all the other movies nominated, but yeah. When it's up against something like In Old Arizona, it's way better. Alright.
Lord Byron of Broadway.
You will hear us talk about this when we go back into when we riff-raff, because we've riffed this movie. That's how we saw it, because it's famously bad, and oh boy did I hate this movie.
And the songs are good, and the movie does not deserve these songs.
I hate this movie, and we'll go into it more when we talk about it, but I did not like it.
Yeah, we're just kind of
if you heard, like, my opinion...
We're just giving, like, quick overviews of some of the big ones. We can't talk about all the little ones, unfortunately, which are my loves, but...
If you've heard my opinion on why I hated Looking for Love, I'll just say I hated Lord Byron for similar reasons.
Yeah. Without and there was no looking at Jim Hutton to save it, because at least I got to stare at Jim Hutton and Looking for Love.
All right, well, next.
The Coconuts, the first Marx Brothers film. Very, very stagey.
Super stagey.
Like, it's one of the stagiest films I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But when the Marx Brothers actually get to do their thing.
When it's just all four of them playing off each other. Yeah.
Like, there's, again, like a card scene.
An auction scene.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah. And the ending's pretty funny.
Yeah.
The way ending. But I mean, like, when the Marx Brothers aren't around, you're like, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, all Marx Brothers fans don't really, like, we don't really discuss everything else. We just discuss the Marx Brothers, because that's the good part.
At least till we get to MGM, where there's actually stuff worth talking about.
I mean, Kay Francis is in it, but, she hardly has anything to do with it.
I always forget she's in this.
I know! And she's one of my favorite actresses.
I always have to be reminded. I'm like, oh yeah, she was.
Yeah.
Just because I don't remember anything that really doesn't have to do
I know,
with
that's
Marx
right.
Brothers, yeah.
That's how I feel. I'm gonna discuss quickly the Hollywood Review of 1929. And this sort
I've
of
only seen like segments of this. Yeah.
This are the trend of the review musicals, and I would like to own them sometime because there are really fun moments in them. And it's really hard for me to dislike this one because it has two of my favorite actors in a scene together, Norma Shear and John Gilbert. They do Romeo and Juliet and Jazz Lingo. And that's my favorite part of the movie. There are good parts and there are not so good parts. And Joan Crawford has a good part. Yeah, you just have to really look out for the good, and just kind of sit through the bad. But it's segmented, so it's not like long or anything where you're like, oh my god,
one part just never ends.
Yeah. Hallelujah. We get to a good one.
Yeah.
This one really changed the way musicals were done,
because it actually feels like a movie, not like a film stage play. So
and it actually has a narrative to it rather than backstage musical.
Yeah, or watch all these stars talk for the first time.
There's no plot there. Like this one actually has a plot, and in the songs,
an actual dramatic plot.
Yeah, the songs serve as a narrative.
Yep.
And then we go to another good one this year, Sunny Side Up.
Yeah, one of the best.
Really, easily.
Yeah.
This one has one of the best lineups of songs, like Turn on the Heat, If I Had a Talking Picture of You, the title song, I'm a Dreamer. These are all really songs that really lasted a long time, and it's this movie that they've originated in, and it has one of our favorite screen couples,
Charles Farrell and Janet Gaynor.
Fair-Nor.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, well, obviously that's the main reason.
Yeah, I know. No, I like it for all the other reasons too. But yeah, and another really good one.
Yeah, this one again really flows so much better than a lot that came before.
Let's tell them what we're talking about.
The Love Parade.
Yeah. And this movie is stolen hands down by Lupino Lane and Lillian Roth.
Yes. They're the comic side
they're like
characters.
The beta couple. Yeah, and they're hilarious.
But Maurice Chevalier always has such charm.
Yeah, he's always delightful.
Who can ever say bad things about Maurice Chevalier?
Yeah.
And then we get to, like, the big technical achievement one, applause.
Yeah, this movie is, again, Van Bullion did it, so it's super cinematic.
This is, like, what a silent film looks like, but it's a talkie.
Yeah.
Like, that's how beautiful looking it is.
Really hokey plot, but that's okay.
That's okay. And it has...
It at least kept me invested.
Yeah, no, I actually cared. I'd care about anything with Helen Morgan in it. Rio Rita, quickly.
Wheeler and Woozy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a film Ziegfeld play, which is actually kind of fun to see, because, obviously we can't go watch Ziegfeld plays now.
Well, at least in this one, when Wheeler and Woozy aren't on screen, I can look at John Bowles. So.
Yeah. And you also have B.B. Daniels, who both can sing. Yay!
Yeah.
They're not
totally.
They're not putting stars that can't sing in it.
Oh, yeah. They actually, these are actors who were big in the silent era, who not only could talk, but could sing. Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
And Wheeler and Woozy are hilarious.
Yep.
As always.
Steal everything.
Of course.
They normally did until they got spilling right after that.
Quick talk of shows, because that's the Warner Brothers counterpart to the Hollywood Review 1929 from MGM.
You didn't really like this one,
it's more of a mixed bag than the Hollywood Review, and they're really trying to outdo the Hollywood Review by having more people in it, but more doesn't always mean better.
It means clusterfuck.
I refer to it as a clusterfuck.
I didn't even see that, I just said that.
But the people who are actual musical stars, like there's Nick Lucas is in it, Ted Lewis, they come off the best because they can actually, they're actually here for their talents. They're not just like, look at me, I can talk, this is what I sound like.
And you said,
the direction doesn't really show close-ups of the stars either, so sometimes I'm like, they were in that? I did not see them. You did not let me take in these stars that I love so much.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me about Frank Fay in this, that you did not, that you weren't a fan.
No, well, I said, the Hollywood Review 1929, has Jack Benny.
Who I'd way rather watch.
Amazing, and I love him so much. Yeah. And this one has Frank Faye, and he's on for so much. Like, there's one part where Nick Lucas is singing, and they keep showing him. I'm like, excuse me, Nick Lucas is singing. I want to hear him, because I love Nick Lucas. But I'm like, oh my god, can you just, like, give me a second without him, because he has to introduce every single damn skit.
That's just annoying.
It just got on my nerves.
If it was Jack Benny doing it, okay, but...
That's what I mean, like, Jack Benny, fine, he didn't introduce every single skit either.
Well, also, that's true, and also, like, again, with Frank Faye, you watch him and you're like, oh, he's an abuser. So,
yeah, I know, I was kind of thinking that.
Like, he was famously an asshole, so he's a tough watch.
Unlike Jack Benny.
Yeah.
Complete opposite. And then I guess I'll also mention Sally, because that's another filmed Ziegfeld play, really taken from the Ziegfeld stage, and I think this one holds up pretty well if you want an example of the typical 20s musical, but actually a good version of it, because you have the amazing Marilyn Miller, and I could watch her dance all day. And you also have Joey Brown, who clearly works well.
And you have Alexander Gray.
Yeah, I love his voice. He actually was also one of the best parts of your show of shows. He does the finale.
I called when I did a review of this, I called it a film stage play. But,
yeah, it really is.
But it has color in it.
Yeah, so. No, it does. I mean, but that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, it's boring, you know. It's really entertaining, I would say, because of the dancing. They have a lot of songs. They know that's what we're here for.
If you like that, like, Ziegfeld type of... If you were really into... If you saw the Great Ziegfeld and you were super into that type of stuff, then this is... that movie's up your alley.
Okay, so now Paramount on Parade, which we just mentioned. You know, how reviewing your shows. Paramount on Parade knocks them down so far out of the park. This one looks good, and the acts are way better done because it actually waited a whole year to put it out, so the technology isn't like staticky. Yeah. And
I can talk.
Yeah, exactly. And they use a lot of Maurice Ballet, which is really good. There's one scene, the Apache dance with him and Evelyn Brent, that was clearly done by Ernst Lubitsch, which is one of the best parts of the film. And there's a lot of good little moments like that, and there's actually good songs. And they actually have some, like, people that can sing in their roster, like Charles Buddy Rogers can sing. They have Lillian Roth. They have Nino Martini, even though, like, his, I think, is cut out, but you at least get to see him. So yeah, it's a really big cast. Like, your show's like bigger than Hollywood Review, but it actually is worth your time. Yeah. If you're gonna watch like one of those, watch that one.
See, I haven't seen those like all-star type of films, but I'm sure that from what you've told me, that one sounds terrible.
And some of it is missing, unfortunately. That's not the movie's fault. Yeah. But it's a segmented film, so it's not like a big deal. Unfortunately, like, some of the people I really wanted to see were in one of the segments that was cut out. Like, you got to see Gary Cooper for a second, but he was really in that segment. And Richard Arlen was in that one.
I wonder if it would have
Phillips Holmes.
I wonder if it would have been, like, better if it were worse with all that extra stuff. Like, if it would have went on too long, or if it would have been long.
And your shows is long, too. The Hollywood Review is rather long, but not nearly as long as your shows. At least it didn't seem that long. And also, High Review is better directed too. I'll just say that. And now we get to this is kind of an all-star review in a way, but it's really not.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, because this one is a triumph of early musicals. This is one of my favorite movies, actually. If you haven't noticed, if you ever read our blog, I kind of make it obvious.
She's written a lot about it.
And this one's The King of Jazz. And it stars one of my favorite bands, Paul Whiteman. And so you get to see a lot of the talent of his band. They do Rhapsody in Blue. And Bing Crosby's there, because this is when he was the singer for it. And then you get some stars doing some of the musical scenes, like John Bullis, who does It Happened in Monterey. Fantastic. Song of the Dawn as well. And there's also Happy Feet. I mean, these songs are entertaining. The numbers are really well put together. They're showy, but not in an over-the-top way. Like, look, we can do this. Like, no, it's almost like a visual recreation of just a song.
This movie's also episodic, but it feels quick. It doesn't.
It goes by really
It's
fast.
not one of those episodic movies that you're like where by the second half you start feeling it dragging because you're like, okay, it's just keeps
especially
coming
a plotless one, yeah. But this one, it's almost like a film CD. But a visual recreation of it.
That's a good description of it. Yeah.
And it's Paul Whiteman, so how could you not want to listen to it?
Walter Lantz animation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which it starts out on. I know you do. Yeah.
Alrighty, what's next?
Oh, well, let's mention this one quickly, because it's another one we riffed, and this was one of our least favorite ones we riffed.
Yeah. If you were to...
Looking for Love, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
If you were to read... This is Golden Dawn. If you were to read my review of this that I have online, it's just me going like, oh my god, I hated this. Oh I know. God, it was so bad.
But when we read it, how could we not, like, jump on this? We're like, when we read that, it's...
how bad it is.
Just so campy. We're like, okay, we have to riff this. And we did, and...
This movie is a racist piece of shit.
It will offend everyone watching it.
It offends everybody. Just as human beings.
I know. And as much as I like Lupino Lane, he sings a song, and then he offends everyone else who wasn't already, like, targeted in the movie.
Yeah, it's one of those... It's one of those old Jungle Pictures. Yeah, it has its head so far up its lily white ass that it is morbidly offensive. It just we'll talk about it more. Yeah, but it's not even.
It actually has good singers in it too. That's awful as well. You don't think of it.
And who wrote these songs? They were famous.
They were. I think it was. I want to say Oscar Hammerstein.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did. He was half of the team.
Yeah, and then I forget who else. It was another big one, where it's like, what the hell,
and these songs are bad.
And this was a play too. Maybe it was better on the stage. I don't know. It wouldn't have aged well either way. And let's just say we're Italian, and Lupino Lane says a certain word in his song.
Half Italian.
Yeah, we come from Italian ancestors. Hence the name Bianca. And he has this one word in one of his songs that made us go like, okay, what? You're going to use that word, huh?
I hated that movie.
Yeah, that was it. Don't watch it unless you are really up for riffing
if you're super curious, because even riffing it's the cringiest movie.
Even if you're used to, you're like, if you're used to old movies, it's bad.
Yeah, it's racist. It offends it offends African tribes
incredibly.
It got I don't know where. It's one of those movies that thinks African tribes are all these
voodoo.
Yeah, it's bad. I hate it. Okay, well,
it's really bad.
Let's move on to a really good one.
Okay, this one is such a bright spot after that.
Oh my god,
we love this one. We watched it over and over and over again. It's one of the best musicals of the time period.
Yeah, I think so.
Monte Carlo, and I think Clive Hirschhorn put it well when he says, if you if all the other musicals this year were suddenly burned, no one would notice the loss, except for this one. He said, if all the movies were burned from this, all the musicals were burned from this year, except for this one.
Can we burn Golden Dawn?
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
But yeah, this one is the beacon of 1930 musicals.
It's another Lubitsch musical. Yes. And it is funny. It's really funny. It's charming. God. All the songs are delightful.
Yes, of course. And
Trimming the Women, that's my favorite.
And obviously the very famous Beyond the Blue Horizon. Yep. And you have Jack Buchanan, who is
great.
Always delightful as always.
Yeah.
And the wonderful Jeanette MacDonald. How could you resist the two of them together?
Yeah, I know, right?
And sexual innuendo.
And we have Claude Allister as her fiance.
Hilarious.
I can watch him all day.
He does all his scenes.
Yeah.
And I wish he always had parts like that. Yeah. He kind of has one Bulldog Drummond. But I'm like, this guy's really funny. Come on, guys. Can he be in everything?
And we quote Monte Carlo a lot, especially towards the end. Yeah, when there was a part with Monsieur Piquet. Yeah.
Okay, now we get to Animal Crackers. Better than the Coconuts. Still really stagey because again, it was a staged play. But
this one
goes way better.
It still has a weird plot, but at least it's more. It feels like more Marx Brothers are. You know? It's more of the Marx Brothers.
Yeah, exactly. And the songs are actually funny too. They're not just like they're actually
like Hooray for Captain Spaulding. Yeah.
Kalmar and Ruby. And then you have Why Am I So Romantic, which Lillian Roth sings, because you have Lillian Roth there to make it even better. She makes everything better. Let's see.
All right, what's next? Because again, we can't talk about everything.
I know, I want to.
We like a lot of the little ones.
Another big one this year is Whoopi, which made Eddie Cantor a huge screen star, and Samuel Goldwyn. This one actually had Ziegfeld work on it, so it really is
even bigger cultural icon.
Yeah, exactly. Really moved him to other medias. But Ziegfeld actually worked on this one. And so this one is probably the closest to a Ziegfeld production that you're ever going to get. But it's not stilted. I mean, the camera actually, because Busby Berkeley did this was his first movie as well. He did more. He really has his fluidity in the numbers, so they're not just like the camera's not pushed on the ground. He really shows the chorus girls. You get to take in the numbers, actually get to breathe in the stars, and it's in two-strip Technicolor, so it's a way better looking film than what was previously done in the Ziegfeld
and way better
canon.
And the color, like from what I've seen. I've seen a lot of Eddie Cantor movies, and ironically this is like his most famous one, and I've yet to see it.
But, you've seen parts of it.
Yeah, I've seen parts of it, and it's in our basement. I'll get to it.
I love him.
But, like, I've seen the other ones, but, like, from what I've seen, the color, like, as far as early color is concerned, it actually looks better than usual.
Yeah, they did a good job restoring it. Madam Satan, I'm gonna bring up quickly, too, because that's a rare one for Cecil B. DeMille. And it's really bizarre, but I love bizarre early musical production numbers. They are, I don't know why,
that's
but
her thing.
I just am so fascinated with them.
Like, I remember when we were watching Lord Byron of Broadway, and the bizarre musical number came up, and I'm just saying, like, oh, this movie's really bad, and you're like, no, but the number's cool.
Yeah, at least it's not something I can stare at, because this movie's really boring. But yeah, Madam Satan is anything but boring. And then you have Kay Johnson. She's wonderful. This is one of her best parts, along with the other DeMille movie, Dynamite. And I do a blog on her if you want to know more. But this is really famous for a party on a Zeppelin. And it's just so Art Deco-y and beautiful looking, and really just like futuristic, that it's a lot of fun to watch. I recommend that one. And it's also funny. And speaking of Art Deco-y future stuff, I'm going to quickly give a shout out to Just Imagine. I didn't riff this. I watched it because I wanted to watch it, and I had a lot of fun. It's one that you don't really need a riff, because sure, it's really dated and kind of dumb, but it's a lot. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. Like, you would just sit back and watch this and have a good time. You could laugh with it, you could laugh at it, and there are some jokes
like
that are
Attack
pretty
of the
funny.
50-foot woman.
Exactly. Yeah. So do whatever you feel with that one, but I recommend seeing it either way. Now we get to another Chevalier one. The Smiling Lieutenant, another one we really like, has our girl Claudia Colbert in it.
Yes.
And Miriam Hopkins, two of my favorite actresses. I mean, how could I not love this movie?
This one's really funny.
Yeah, it is.
And it's super pre-code, so
I was going to say, it's probably the sexiest one of the bunch.
Yeah, out of, like, the Lubitsch pre-codes, yeah.
Because even the songs are more than usual. And this was at the time when musicals, I'm just saying, like, there's not going to be as many for 31 and 32, because musicals were on the down.
And they're like, more programmers now.
Yeah. Because they didn't think musicals would make money anymore until 42nd Street, and we will get there, but we're also talking about 1 hour.
No, we skip over 42nd Street.
We skip over the big one.
Yeah.
Now, 1 Hour with You, the other Chevalier one, and this one is probably the funniest one. Because
that's Charlie Rose in it. He's hilarious.
He's at his best, which is really saying something.
Yeah.
And it's...
I like it more than The Marriage Circle.
No, I was going to say, it's a remake of the Marriage Circle, but yeah, I like it better as well.
It's funnier. Yeah.
It is. And then we have the triumphant musical of the time.
The best of the
year,
yeah.
Love Me Tonight.
Yes.
And one of the best of the time periods.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
Timeless Rogers and Hart score. One of their best for movies.
Isn't it romantic? That's all we need to say.
Exactly.
That's all you need. And Mimi.
Great. Yeah. And you have him with Jeanette MacDonald, and then there's also Charlie Ruggles, Charles Butterworth, hilarious.
Yeah.
Myrna Loy at her best at the time period.
Yeah, Aubrey Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
The supporting, this is another one of those where the supporting cast walks away with the movie. Like, of course everybody's great in it, but the supporting cast is, like, hilarious.
And Mamboulian films it in a Lubitsch style, but it's purely Mamboulian in the visual aspect of it. But it does have, like, pre-code humor in the way Lubitsch film would, because he's using Lubitsch actors. Yeah, he knows
Lubitsch style humor, but it's the way it's directed is 100% Mamboulian.
Yeah, because this one has nothing like a stage play.
Yeah.
It's completely cinematic. Okay, another one we're going to start with 1933 now, a big year of musicals. We're going to mention Hallelujah, I'm a Bum, which was a flop in its day, believe it or not. Probably because it was a musical before they really got going again. Yeah. Either way, but it's actually Al Jolson's best movie now. If you don't have the Jolsons or he's just a voice in that. Because then it would be a tie. But this one is... again, purely cinematic. Yes. Nothing in the least bit staging.
It's funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. Yeah. And it's charming. Yeah. And it has a Depression era plot, which is always interesting to see how they handle it, especially in a lighthearted musical.
Yeah, totally. It's one. It kind of has the feel of something like Las Naus Liberte, which is sort of the whole. You don't need that whole rich work heavy life to be happy. That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
And just a quick shout out to International House.
Good one.
If you love the comedians of the 30s, this one is stacked full of them. W.C. Fields.
If you don't like W.C. Fields and George and Gracie, there's no help for you. Yeah, you just don't like comedy.
Exactly. This one, and then you have special musical guests. Yeah. Like the wonderful Cab Calloway and Rudy Valley.
As energetic as always.
Yeah. He has to sing Reefer Man. Yeah. So that's one of the best parts of the movie.
And this movie is really funny.
There's a laugh every minute.
There is.
So if you love pre-code and comedy and musical
coming together,
that's
for a really good combination.
It's a dream. Now we get to the big one, 42nd Street. And this one has one of the real when you really get to see Busby Berkeley become Busby Berkeley. This is probably a signature film. Yeah. Which is saying something.
Yeah, in terms of numbers and the way he does them and the way they're filmed.
Because obviously he'd get bigger, the numbers would get bigger, but he kind of was more cognizant that this is a stage play. Later on, he wouldn't care. But this one, he's actually thinking this is a film of a stage play.
Yes. Yep. It actually incorporates. It's one of the very few that incorporates its plot into what's going on. Yeah. It's not a backstage musical that's really hokey and the little hokiness that it does have is charming and it is almost
warranted.
And it's almost kind of self-aware of it. So
Warner Baxter's excellent in this movie, as is BB Daniels. Yep. I have a soft spot in my heart for the character of Dorothy Brock. I don't know why, but I do. And
because BB plays her.
That's probably why. And then this is the first film Dick Powell and Ruby Keeler made together, which is a reason to celebrate. Yeah. It's Dick Powell's first big role as well.
We will watch Dick Powell in anything.
Yeah, we love him. And then we get to the second one, Footlight Parade, which is now even grander in scale of the Berkeley musical. And then you have James Cagney in this, and he's having the time of his life. He's delightful. He and Joan Blondell just really have that repertoire that they have.
Usually have, And Shanghai Lil is such a great number.
It is. I agree. Yeah. And then they show the big numbers at the end, in a row. It's just such a special treat and everything before that is great too because you actually like the characters. And then we get to my favorite of the bunch.
Mine too.
Yay! Gold Diggers of 1933. And again, we have another big Warner Brothers actor, not associated with the Berkeley musicals in it. Warren William, who is amazing, obviously.
Yeah, I could watch Warren William all day.
I love him.
Yeah.
I think any pre-code fan does.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then you have Joan Blondell again, who is with Warren Williams, so that's nice. But the songs in this one are just peak perfection, and then especially the finale of Remember My Forgotten Man, truly something for depression era
audiences. It opens with We're in the Money and ends with Remember My Forgotten Man.
It says a lot about and then
and it's funny.
Yes, it is. It is, especially McMahon.
Yeah, she can.
I love her. I love her. Flying down to Rio. Now we have to just mention this because of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. If it was anyone else, we wouldn't even think maybe twice about doing it because it's not in the typical Astaire Rogers formula. I mean, obviously, because it's their first one, they don't know what they're not like, this is a Fred and Ginger movie.
If it was anybody else, this movie would be pretty forgettable.
Yeah,
because they really make
aside from the songs, the songs are good.
Yeah.
But isn't that the way of most musicals?
Women dancing on a plane. People would still remember that, but yeah.
But everybody's like, oh, Fred and Ginger, and for good reason, because obviously they are the best part of it. So now we get to 1934. So again, a lot of little ones I like, especially in the early 30s.
Love it.
I know, yeah, that's Virginia's for reasons.
Yes. Certain favorite actors in it who can sing, and it's really charming. It's funny.
The next Busby Berkeley one is Dames. And this one is plot-wise more tame than the ones before it. But but the actual numbers of Dames and I Only Have Eyes for You are Berkeley at his best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he actually, and I said, this is at the time when he's like, it's not even the fact that it's a stage show. I mean, it is supposed to, these numbers are supposed to be part of a stage show, but he doesn't care anymore. Like, he knows this is a movie. I'm not gonna make it oh, just people dancing, And a quick shout out to the other Chevalier McDonald movie, their last together, The Merry Widow, which is a beautiful looking film, the best version, compared, I mean, when you're putting up to the 25 and 52 version, because I like those a lot too, actually, because one of my, like, each of them have one of my favorite actors, like, one has one of my favorite actors in it, one has one of my favorite actresses in it.
Yeah.
But, this one really, it is all around the more, just better film.
Yeah, and it's really funny, because, like, I know a lot of people like the black comedy that von Stroheim does, but to me, I'd rather watch the sort of, like...
Not for the Merry... It doesn't really always work with the Merry Widow idea.
No, well, like, how people, like, think it's funny. Oh, he put a character with a fetish in it. Isn't that funny? I was like, well, it's creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the idea of it is funny. Watching it, it's not so funny when you actually see it.
I'd rather... I'd rather watch a ballet singing about girls and have all these sex jokes in it. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. And the 52 one follows that more, but obviously the sex jokes can't be there. Yeah. There's some. I'm surprised that they did manage to have some. And then another one this year, which was nominated, was One Night of Love, which made a movie star out of the divine Miss Grace Moore, who I adore so much. And so it's incredibly delightful little movie. And it really deserves to be remembered the way it was back then, because the songs are good and the plot's a lot of fun. Now we get to Fred and Ginger, more Fred and Ginger. Always.
Official Fred
Always.
And Ginger movie. Yeah.
The Gay Divorcee.
I like this one a lot.
Yeah. This one's, again, they're all really, really funny.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like they just knew exactly where they were going with it, because you have Edward Gordon and Eric Rhodes and Eric Blore, who are regulars in the movies, and they really played the parts that are suited to them and would become suited to them. This is, even though it's only their second film together, their first starring one, it's a Fred and Ginger movie through and through.
Yes.
And it's a version of Fred's musical, The Gay Divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to change the name because divorce can't be gay.
And the songs are memorable, like from the littlest song to the big dance numbers. Yeah.
I mean, they only kept one song from the play, but they're still memorable. I mean, how many times does that happen? Now Kid Millions, I want to do a quick shout out to this one. This one is so funny.
It's really funny.
All the songs are really good. I'm gonna put that out there because you have Eddie Kenner sing like Mandy, and one of his signature songs when My Ship comes in, and there's a Technicolor finale, and you have the Nicholas brothers. So yeah, as musical wise, it's excellent. But then it's also really, really funny. So when the musical songs aren't there, you're like, when are they going to sing again? You know, it's because you're actually having a good time.
These great character actors in it. Yeah,
you do. Yes, you do. Another quick shout out to Babes in Toyland, another comedy one.
Yeah.
For Stan and Ollie.
Yeah.
This is considered the definitive version. I mean,
it
doesn't have a lot of competition, but
yeah. When I read about Lauren Hardy's Babes in Toyland, I was like, it has to compete with Kitty Craft, so yeah, it is the better version.
Roberta, which is Not a Friend Ginger, and it's done from the stage play. Not all the songs are there, but a lot of my favorite ones from the play are there. So thank goodness. And you have Irene Dunn singing them too. Yeah. Who could ever hate Irene Dunn? And you have her with Randy Scott, who's one of my favorite cowboys, actually. And he's in this.
Friend and Ginger are the best part.
Well, obviously, they are the best part of everything. But
do you like the plot of this movie?
It doesn't bother me. Like, I know people say it's so silly.
To me, it's nothing worse than your regular.
That's what I mean. Like, why are we all gang up on?
Because people have seen this one.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, again, it is one of those musical plots that you're like, can we get to the numbers?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but because also the Jerome Kern, so obviously I think that as well. But I'm not like, oh my god, like because you have Fred and Ginger at least like working off each other. As well.
They're very funny.
They're in a lot of it too. They're not really the secondary characters. It's more of a shared.
They feel secondary to me.
At times, yeah. I mean, they get to share. Like, they get to share more on the screen than Randy does.
It's because none of the dramatic stuff happens with them. I think that's why. Yeah. Because they are very funny.
Yeah. Well, who wants to see that? They're fun.
I'm not saying. Yeah, we want to see them. Just saying, since they aren't involved in any of that, they feel secondary.
And you have Irene Dunn saying "Smoke Gets in Your Eyes," which is worth the price of admission. And Gold Diggers in 1935, another huge Berkeley numbers. Like, he won, like, obviously, one of his signatures is Lullaby Broadway, which won the best song at the Oscars.
Yeah, I remember when we saw the play 42nd Street Lullaby Broadway was our favorite part of
that it. That is, yeah. And it's not like a huge production number that one either. It's just them singing at a train station.
Yeah, that's it. We liked the song. Yeah. Because we were kids when we saw that. But,
yes, we were.
Long before we saw these movies. But,
isn't that funny?
Yeah. And when I say long, I mean,
a couple of years.
Yeah. But I think that, well, again, the big thing with Gold Diggers at 35 is it's not pre-code, so
it's still funny.
It's still funny. It's just you're like, none of that sauce in it.
But we have Dick Powell. So.
That's true.
And now Naughty Marietta, the first McEddie musical, Nelson and Jenna McDonald, or as the fans say, McEddie. I should know I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And this one really started the magic. It's breezy, fun with some romance, some drama, some comedy, and the songs are really kept intact from the show because you have I Fall in Love with Someone, Italian Street Song, Tramp, 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 and obviously the most famous one, All Sweet Mystery of Life.
Well, also in Naughty Marietta, Nelson Eddy does get to be sort of like he is an outdoorsman in that. So when you see him in a costume, you can tell he's super uncomfortable because
he did not like them.
Well, maybe it's just because we know off screen he wasn't uncomfortable because he wasn't like that at all. He was more of the heat and outdoors type. So the fact that he gets to be more that type in this movie, it makes him look more comfortable on screen to me. And again, it's probably just because I know that he's uncomfortable doing that stuff. But yeah,
the big one, top hat of probably the whole 30s. This one is I think their funniest one. Along Carefree, as we have said.
Well, I would probably say for me it's for funniest it would be between Carefree and Gay Divorce.
Well, yeah, because of the situation.
Yeah, it has Alice Brady in it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, this one has the essential Fred and Ginger plot.
Yeah.
And you have Irving Berlin songs. This is actually where he and Fred first met. Because they became obviously lifelong friends. But it's so amazing. It's so shocking they didn't meet till 1935.
Yeah. And obviously every song is famous, every single one.
I know, yeah. How many, like, because even in some of the best musicals, there's always, like, one or two songs that are like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bowie Melody 1936, another huge looking film, clearly wanted to compete with the Warner Brothers looking films, and actually
put MGM on track with that type
it did.
Big extravagant number, because obviously they had, we talked about Nani Marietta same year, so they had stuff like that, but they didn't, and like we were talking earlier, something like a Merry Widow or Cat and the Fiddle, but they didn't have the big type of Warner Brothers type.
It's hard to think that MGM was behind on Warner Brothers musicals at one point.
It seems funny, yeah.
But they finally found their big musical dancing star too, with Eleanor Powell in this movie, and this is the film that made her a star. Easy to see why.
Helped boost Robert too.
Yeah, it helped boost Robert Taylor because he was obviously already doing well. Yeah. But this really
it was one of his big leading roles
at the time, because he didn't do Camille yet.
Yeah.
A Night at the Opera, the greatest Marx Brothers movie.
This is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
You said Monkey was your favorite,
but this one is the first one I ever saw. It has a dear place in my heart. Yeah, I think
that's a big part of it, and I also think, like, I would say objectively, maybe Duck Soup's probably their best, but I would say this one, I mean, it's just
a better movie.
Yeah, because you could sit back and watch it and have a good time.
And even when the Marx Brothers are on screen, it's still a nice film because you have Ellen Jones and Kitty Carlisle
who can sing very well. Yeah, they're singing good songs
and incredibly likable.
Like Alone's a good song. Cozy
it is,
song,
yeah. The songs are actually good too. Because how many times in a comedy movie like that do you get something good songs?
I think that's a big reason why I like it too. Because I've seen so many movies where when the Marx Brothers aren't on screen, I'm like, ugh.
Exactly.
But with that, I don't mind. So yeah.
And now Rosemary, which is the essential Nelson A. J. McDonald film. And this one is my favorite, actually. Of course, I go for the essential one, huh? But
this one does have Jimmy Stewart.
Extra points.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
And a young David Niven's in it too. So it's more modern. And they don't use songs from the original play, but when you do see films like the 34 version of Rosemary, it's not nearly as much fun as this because they're going off the play. But I'm not having as much fun.
Did you say 34?
54. Yeah, my bad.
You might have said 54, but I heard 34.
Yeah, whatever I said. And now we get to another Fred and Ginger Follow the Fleet, which is kind of different in the course of Fred and Ginger movies in that it's not as like grandiose, glamorous. It's more like it casts Fred as a sailor. He's more of the everyman in this one.
You only have Randy Scott again, like Bianca said, she loves him, and he
has a more Randy Scott.
Yeah, he's more Randy here. Like he seems way more comfortable than he does in Roberta.
Yeah. And the mother of one of our favorite TV families, Harriet Hilliard, a.k.a. Nelson.
A.k.a. Ricky's mom.
And we owe her everything. And now we're going to talk about one of our favorite Shirley Temple film. Because we didn't discuss any so far, but this is our favorite.
And we're big fans.
We are. Yeah. We could watch him over and over and over again.
I don't care how old I am. I'll watch them.
I don't care.
Yeah,
Are you
I'll
kidding?
Watch them forever.
Poor Little Rich Girl. This one has a more intricate plot point. Like and I always like seeing her connect with other people, like how she just wins everyone over. It's really nice seeing that. It makes you just happy.
Again, it's the type of thing like in a feel good musical you like to watch. And obviously Shirley is great, but we have her with Jack Haley and Alice Faye, who are obviously very good.
Obviously.
So it feels to me like maybe, Shirley's like most complete movie. Yeah. In that regard, even though I like all her other stuff. I like Rebecca Sunnybrook Farm. I like Curly Top. I like all these other movies. But I can again, just like, we're fans, so we like watching her. But that one I feel like, they use her well. They use her co-stars well.
I think it's her best
musical
movie.
Numbers well. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd say that even objectively speaking.
Yeah, I would too. The Great Ziegfeld. I've called it the glossiest movie ever made.
I would agree.
And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Well, it's ultra MGM.
Yeah, but it's one where you could get away with that because it's about Ziegfeld.
Yeah.
And you have William Powell well cast as him. Myrna Loy hardly gets to do anything, unfortunately, but at least they're together.
That made me sad because she's my favorite.
Obviously, yeah, she's her favorite. But yeah, we always need more Myrna.
As long as she's there.
At least she's with William.
That I liked that.
And then Louise Rayner, who is excellent, like always. And you have a whole bunch of other stars, and there's a big cast. I think Ray Bolger's delightful in this, like always. He gets to sing, you gotta have strings. The songs are a lot of fun too.
I like how they get like the Ziegfeld stars to play themselves.
Yeah, like Fanny Brice, yeah.
Obviously, they can't get Will Rogers because he died, but too bad.
But they get a really good imitator.
Yeah.
And then there's just some really famous production numbers. Obviously, the big cake one getting where Dennis Morgan is dubbed by Alan Jones,
which is really weird. It didn't have to be dubbed
at all. I think they probably just liked Alan's version, so they probably got Dennis, but then they used Alan's version.
Then just get Alan. He's on the.
I think he was. My guess was he's probably in a stage play at the time.
Yeah.
I mentioned this in my blog. I had to really do a lot of guesswork here, but yeah.
Because it's just like, why?
Yeah, I know, or else it doesn't make any sense. Speaking of Alan Jones, next one, well, how can you talk about great musicals without mentioning Showboat? And I think the 36 one's the best one. And the 51 one's good too. It's not as true to the play. It doesn't have as many... it has different songs than the 36 one does. It has some songs that this one doesn't.
Yeah.
But this one has Paul Robeson, so your argument is invalid. And then you also have Irene Dunne and Alan Jones really doing a great service to Jerome Kern's famous songs. And then you have the great Helen Morgan, who was actually in the play, as was Irene Dunne.
Yeah, right. Didn't Irene travel with it too, I think?
Yeah. And then we get to my favorite Fred and Ginger one. And
mine too.
Yep, oh good. Yep. I would consider their best one. Swing Time, which again, Jerome Kern, yay, my favorite. So this one has my favorite dance number that they do. Actually, Never Gonna Dance.
Punches you in the gut.
It really does. And the whole Fred technique of having as little cuts as possible.
Yeah.
You really see it on full display there. And he also does Bojangles of Harlem, which is a classic signature solo number he does, as well as a tribute to Bojangles, obviously.
Yeah, every number lands in it.
It really does, yeah. The music's good.
Yeah.
The dancing, they've never danced better.
It's on the AFI Top 100, so I know a lot of critics consider it their best musical, and obviously we like it a lot, so.
And the next one is another one I like a lot, Born to Dance. It's my favorite Eleanor Powell musical, and it teams her with Jimmy Stewart. And really good songs are in this one. I mean, you have Jimmy Stewart actually singing Easy to Love famously. And I'm actually glad he did, because I said if he dubbed, nobody would ever believe that was him. It would be so campy. But he gets to use his little charm and his cute voice, and so I don't care. Jimmy Love, whenever. And Eleanor Powell famously does Swinging the Jinx Away. And Virginia Bruce, the great Virginia Bruce, finally gets to sing She Thinks I've Got You Under My Skin.
Super famous song.
Yes. And she introduced it. We must never forget that. And next one, Deanna Durbin's first film, Three Smart Girls.
Fun movie.
Yeah, it's again really funny. It's like a screwball comedy. It's in kind of like the same comedy tone as something like The Awful Truth, and just people just messing up, falling over themselves, trying to get two people together. It's just delightful. And
Raymond Land's in it. He's so cute.
I can always watch Rainbow Land. I'm going to do a quick shout out to On the Avenue. I think this is one of the best Fox musicals of the 30s, because they really hit their stride in the 40s, obviously.
Yeah, with the Technicolor musicals.
Yeah. But this one you have Dick Powell, who's not a Fox player, but belongs here nonetheless, with Alice Faye kind of getting up the ladder of success here. But you have Irving Berlin songs. One of his most famous ones, I Got My Love to Keep Me Warm. And you have the Ritz Brothers at their best. I think it's just overall just a really, really fun, funny musical. And another McGetty, Maytime, which is considered the best one, but it's really fucking depressing. It made me cry like it was really bad crying. Good, beautiful movie, but be prepared to cry if you are someone who cries at movies. You will cry. And last March Brothers one we're gonna spotlight because it's their other big one.
Big musical. Yeah.
A Day at the Races. And musical wise it doesn't work as well, but comedy wise it works just fine.
Yeah. Comedy is very funny.
Yeah. There's a lot of famous scenes, a lot of big lines, like, if I hold you any closer, I'd be in the back of you. That's a very famous moment.
Yeah, very good comedy.
Yeah. And I like the whole horse racing, like, the way, what they do with it is pretty funny, because a lot of comedy teams do horse racing movies, but theirs is, probably the best.
Yeah. So. Yep. Well,
they're just saying something.
Marx Brothers usually are the best when it comes to film comedy. Yeah. We are big fans.
If you can't tell. Yeah. So Shall We Dance? This was the first Friday Ginger movie I ever saw, and my heart is forever in love with it.
I remember you would watch it like every day at that time, and then I would say like, "Well, I guess I have nothing better to do, so I guess I'll watch."
I guess I'll watch it. Yeah. I think it's their best lineup of songs, which is really saying something, by George Gershwin, and the biggest Oscar I must mention is
Snub.
Is They Can't Take It Away From Me. Yeah, equally. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I will ever quite get over that.
I understand. It's a great song.
It gets me really mad just thinking about it.
No, I get it. It's a great song.
Okay, let's see. So now we get to like a lot of the programmers. Now this is the time of the programmer. The late 30s when they really took over. But we definitely have to mention Somewhere in the Seven Doors,
which we do talk about on our Disney retrospective, and we really like it, as you can imagine.
Obviously, what's not to like?
But first, feature-length animated film, and it is a full musical, so it's an animated musical that was, like, landmark in every regard. Alrighty, so...
I'll talk about one of my favorite Deanna Durbin movies.
I like this one.
We like this one. Mad About Music. This one, for the typical Deanna Durbin plot. By typical, I mean it's amazing. It combines heart, comedy, and Deanna singing, so what more do you want from a movie?
It feels like a more... like adolescent type of Shirley Temple movie, because obviously it aims like it lets its protagonist be a bit older, even though she's still a kid. She's
14.
She's 14, so it lets her be 14 and not like it doesn't drift her too old or too young. Yeah, it knows what to do with her. And
Deanna was not 14; she was 16.
Yeah, well, she grew up a year later. So yeah.
Boy, did she do a good job doing it.
She got Robert Stack doing it. I'm sure we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites as well. Alexander's Ragtime Band, a big one for Fox. This is also what really made people say, hey, this is, they're pretty good with musicals. Yeah. And you have Tyrone Power at its loveliest.
Yeah, I'm looking at him a little bit.
I know, boy, and I think I have. And Alice Faye singing...
These classic turn of the century.
Yeah, a lot of it's the typical Berlin formula where you hear his songs in the background, you hear them, you hear the cast sing them, so they're all over the place. And this was kind of the first one to do that.
Would you call Turn of the Century, or would you call it a little later?
Turn of the Century. Okay. Yeah, Turn of the Century, sure.
Okay.
I mean that could count for a thing.
It's a broad term.
Yeah. Carefree, the Screwball Fred and Ginger.
Because it doesn't take place like in the 1910s, right?
It does.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because remember, he leaves for World War
No, I remember, but yeah, I'm just trying.
Kind of like Tin Pan Alley.
It's been a couple of years since I've seen it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like Tin Pan Alley. The time period.
Well, I of course know Tin Pan Alley. Yeah.
But now Carefree, the Screwball Fred and Ginger movie, one of their funniest. and you have Ralph Bellamy. The Screwball Sap is playing a Screwball Sap in the Screwball musical.
It's the only time they go full Screwball, and it's very funny. And then also
Ginger is very good
it's one of the first times we get to see Ginger Rogers really go into that territory, which she obviously in the pre-code era she got to be funny like that. But I mean, as a leading lady, when she got to do that, and obviously after her teaming with Fred, she became like a big comedian actress, and I think, and she was also and then she did drama for a while, but I think one of her great fortes was comedy, like, you know, and Tom, Dick, and Harry, Bachelor Mother, you know.
She has amazing comic timing, especially when the crazier the better for
Ginger. That's why I think in Tom, Dick, and Harry she's so hilarious, and I think that's like her role in Carefree, where she's not so much ditzy, she kind of becomes ditzy through everything. She's a screwy dame. Yeah, she's a screwy dame, and then I think that's kind of a precursor to that.
And I love that she falls her Fred like right away too.
Yeah, she's not like pissed off at him.
No,
like, at first,
for a second, then she gets over it so quickly.
Yeah, then she gets pissed off at him again, but it is a screwball plot.
It's like Nelson and Jim McDonald. He's always hissing her.
That is true. She's the iron butterfly.
Yeah, but now we get to you.
Should I just get Space Matter for a longer time? I feel Ginger melts a little easier.
Jeanette, you gotta work for.
Jeanette. Yeah,
it's like that with all her leading men. I mean, mostly Nelson Eddie, like mostly, but yeah.
It's another funny thing with the cat and the fiddle. She just is so pissed at Roman Morrow at
she
first.
is.
And then like how he keeps saying things and they sound dirty, and he doesn't mean them to sound dirty. It's
like
funny.
The Firefly with like Alan Jones. How dare you sing to me? Like kind of thing. So now we get to one you might have seen this.
Maybe.
The Wizard of Oz. So obviously,
have you guys seen this one? It isn't one of those obscure musicals.
Obviously, the family classic.
And we all saw this since we were 5, so yeah.
Incredibly well cast, incredibly. I mean, it's hard to picture anyone else in the parts now. I mean, you hear the kind of people. I know Samuel Goldwyn bought the rights once because he wanted Eddie Cantor to be in it. And obviously they were going to get Buddy Ebsen for the Tin Man, but now it's hard to picture anyone else in it. Even I love Eddie Cantor. But yeah, it's just one of those movies that you can't picture it any other way.
I want to mention a quick Wizard of Oz. Like the first time we saw it when we were like 5 years old, we saw it at our Nana's house, and
I saw it before that.
We saw it at Nana's house.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah. I swear that was the first time, and we were like 4 or 5.
It's the first time we remember it.
Yeah, that's at least the first time we remember. Yeah, but
first time it registered.
I remember she bought it, and this was on VHS. She bought it, and then she so this is like in the mid-late 90s, and she bought it, and she put it in the VCR. She's like, you gotta watch this movie, and then she put it in, and she's like, and then you're gonna see all these beautiful colors, and then she's like, wait, where are the colors? Oh my god, what's wrong? She has a blue dress, I swear. And but we kept watching. We honestly didn't care that it was in black and white. We kept watching, even though it was like the first time we saw anything in black and white, but we kept watching, and then she came downstairs later when we were watching. She's like, oh, there's her blue dress. Oh, good.
She seriously forgot.
She forgot and changed the color. I feel like you would remember that.
No, I'm surprised I don't remember her saying that either.
I remember that because I remember her saying, oh my god, where's her blue dress? She has one.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I had to mention that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's our Nana.
Okay, now we'll talk about the other Deanna Durbin movie we said we talk about.
First Love. Favorite.
It is. Yeah. It's the first one I ever saw.
I like this one a lot too.
And I was like, this girl's amazing and I love her. Yeah, so you have her singing like One Fine Day from Madame Butterfly and Spring in My Heart. But the best part, she gets to kiss Robert Stack.
She grows up in this movie.
Yep. Made headlines.
Yeah.
Oh, if only we all could grow up with Robert Stack like that, huh?
Like, I mean, like, when I wrote about...
Oh, that's a love based off Cinderella story movies that are good.
Yeah. When I wrote about child stars growing up, and I was talking about Deanna Durbin, and I said, like, it got to the point where even though, she's still a teenager, you really can't hide how, like, grown she's getting. And it's like, so, like, a year earlier when they were making her a kid. In Mad About Music, it doesn't look bad, but in some other ones, you're like
that certain age when she comes down that black dress, you're
yeah.
like, oh my god, she's hot.
Like when they try to hide it, it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean
You're
she
like,
is 16.
okay, yeah.
I mean obviously she's gonna look kind. She's
gonna
look hot. Yeah.
She's gonna look like a woman.
Like she's playing like a 15-year-old, but yeah, she's really 16, so she actually does have more
yeah
assets.
Yeah. Wait, but when I was writing about that, because we're gonna talk about Babes in Arms next, and I was said like, Mickey didn't get to grow up, even though he was older than Deanna Durbin and Judy Garland, but they had to grow up because you couldn't hide a woman growing up, but you could hide a man pretty easily.
Yeah, like his voice might change, but he could easily talk a little higher.
Which Mickey did.
Oh my god.
Which, obviously, you can't hide how grown up Judy and Deanna got.
Like even during the Wizard of Oz, they had to pad Judy down.
Yeah.
I think that must be very painful.
Yep. Alright, so
Babes in Arms. So the Mickey and Judy, the first of the backyard musicals they made.
The Let's Put On a Show musicals.
Yeah. And Rodgers and Hart did the stage play. This only has one of their songs in it. They mostly use Arthur Freed songs that he did with Brown, and this was his first producing movie, so I mean they have the rights to his songs, so why not use them, I guess. But either way, it's a most delightful movie. I love Mickey and Judy together. They have such an energy, such chemistry, like few other acting pairs have, because they genuinely love each other. Yeah, like the friends they were. And so yeah, they're the whole show of this movie. Go figure.
Alright, so we just did the 20s and 30s, we'll do the 40s. Next week we might get into the 50s, we'll see, obviously.
A lot of 40s.
Yeah, a lot of 40s.
The World War II musical.
And the 50s have more, obviously not as many, but they have
the Broadway adaptations.
They have more standouts, so more we have to talk about.
They have better...
Yeah, better ones, I guess you could say. Yeah, like these bigger, grander musicals. I mean, anybody who's...
They had to compete with television. They couldn't do the little ones.
Anybody who's into musicals started out, I'm sure, in the 50s.
Yeah.
Probably in early 60s, too, but yeah. Alright, so recommendations. So, for the weekend, I recommended Newer Alley's Pitfall. Bianca recommended it before, but stars a musical star. Dick Powell, and as we said, we're fans. So I love him in Noir. SSB. We love him. Obviously, we're being into noir. If you can't tell, because we're doing some noir.
And the beautiful Elizabeth Scott, great noir face.
And Bianca's boyfriend,
because it's Perry Mason.
I always call him.
Yeah, he's the boyfriend.
Yes,
because I love Perry Mason so much. I don't think I have any this weekend, do I? No, yeah. See, they already played. Too bad. You can't watch them. No,
because they were mostly musicals.
Yeah, they were.
I have the courtesy to,
I had more than one.
No,
I had The Man from Rio.
I recommended Moon Over Miami. That was, I think, the only musical I did.
I love that movie so much.
Because I love it too.
Has everybody I love is in it.
Yeah, because it's
especially
fun.
Robert Cummings.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
and
I can watch Betty Grable till the cows come home.
Yeah, because she's fun.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into Betty next weekend. So yes, have a good one, everybody.
Bye bye.